All right. So the Taisho era, please make sure that you've read the readings that you were supposed to read and you answered the questions you were supposed to answer regarding the first, the Sino-Japanese War, and then the Russo-Japanese War. Those are really important in order to look at this next era, especially because you'll see some of the reactions that Japan has afterwards that are going to be mentioned here, and I just don't want you to be confused. So if you haven't finished that, please pause and go and finish that, all right? And then come back to us. All right, so the beginning of this era, the Taisho era, we have the Meiji era, which started right after Commodore Perry came in, knocking down on the doors for Japan and basically forcing them to trade, right? And so they were left humiliated. This new Meiji era comes in and basically changes up the system because in their mind, their goal is to not be a colony and instead be one of the superpowers in the world, one of the more respected countries because they don't want to be pushed around. But Meiji dies, Emperor Meiji dies. His son comes in and he is then called Emperor Taisho. So the Meiji era is dead, Taisho era is here, and this looks like, you'll see what this looks like. So under this Taisho era, we still have the idea that Japan wants to be democratic, and on the surface, it looks like they are becoming more of a democratic country, a modern empire with a modern army. They got rid of the swords, and now you have a well-trained army, militia with guns, and like they're helping out and everything. I mean, they even fought those two wars, right? We looked at the wars with the Sino-Japanese War and then the Russo War. But the reality is, this is not really looking that good in terms of democracy and where power rests. So under a democracy, power is supposed to rest within the people. The people are supposed to vote and make decisions for their country, but that's not what's happening. It's the emperor still with the small circle that are making all the decisions. This proved that democracy wasn't actually within Japan. And even if we pretend like it was, those who could actually vote, if you recall, very small percentage. And then aside from that, there is a lack of freedom of expression. Anybody who spoke of any left-wing ideologies, such as anything that's to do with communism, socialism, anything along those lines, they were basically stopped and just kind of shut down. Same thing with women. Women demanding for equality was also shut down. And so, again, this is not really something that we can call a successful start for this Taisho, or just for this new era of Japanese government, the Japanese government, right? We're going to move on to the next slide. If you need to pause, go ahead and pause, but we're moving on. All right, so during World War I, basically Japan is getting itself involved because they want to be respected, to be seen as allies, and they want people to turn to them in that sense. So they thought if they were cooperative, it would look that way. Not because they want to be heroic or anything, but they just want to be cooperative so that people can be like, okay, yeah, I respect Japan. They're the homies, right? Also because they have a lot of self-interest, and you'll see right now. So you say, well, why would Japan even want to enter World War I? I mean, that's in Europe, and Japan's all the way down with the Pacific Ocean by themselves and their island. Well, they declared war on Germany, and again, why? The Allies were asking for troops from Japan, but Japan was not sending them. Instead, Japan basically said, hey, we won't fight you. We won't fight over there or anything really, or we'll send a little bit of, people and a little bit of resources, but we'll fight here. Well, Germany's got a few colonies here in the Asian territories, and we can fight them, keep them busy over here. So, that's our way of helping. And that's basically what Japan did. They went and picked fights with Germany in the territories that they had control over in Asia and basically took them. And it was easy for them to take it. Why? Because, again, Germany's very busy in Europe for obvious reasons during World War I, and they couldn't really focus their resources in Asia, or else they were going to get screwed over back in Europe. So for Japan, it was like a win-win for them. We help out. We're seen as very cooperative and nice and cool, and all these countries are going to respect us after this war because we helped out. And also, we're going to gain territories. Therefore, we're going to gain more power and more influence in these regions. All right, next part. So 21 demands on China. So after the Sino-Japanese War, Japan is basically saying, okay, well, these are our demands. This is what we want. The examples of these demands were basically German interests will be transferred to Japan. Germany interest in Manchuria will be recognized. Remember, there was that whole situation with Manchuria. If you forgot, go please refresh yourself. Japan will be given an increased role in policing China. So basically saying, like, we're going to kick you guys. We're kicking butt right now. This is what we want, and we're gonna, demand this from you. We're not asking, we're demanding this from you, or else. China was unable to fight against these demands since this was a period where warlordism, I have a hard time saying that word, made the country weak, and there was a lot of internal fighting and just a lot of drama happening in China, to the point where we're like, well, I don't know if we can defend ourselves against this rising power known as Japan. um, the US and the British attempted to help China resist, but basically they just didn't really do anything to do that. The 21 demands ended up causing a lot of anti-Japanese feelings in China, which caused a lot of levels of Chinese nationalism rising, which will be important when we get in later into this chapter. So just understand, after the Sino-Japanese War and even the Russo-Japanese War, Japan is basically asking for all of these things because they want to seal the deal.